Hello there folks, and thanks for joining me once again at my tying bench. Today's fly, I'm going to tie you up a little woolly worm pattern. And this particular woolly worm is called the Dave's worm, and the creator is Dave Whitlock, and I'm sure you've heard that name many times before. And it's a different little woolly worm pattern, and I have quite a few regular woolly worms in my box, and I'm definitely going to tie a few of these and add them as well. And I thought I'd share this pattern with you, and hopefully you have the materials and you can tie some of these up and add them to your box as well. So I'll get this little guy the vise here, a fresh hook in, and I'll get tying for you. And the hook I'm using is a size 8 streamer hook here, and you can use any size 8 streamer hook you wish. Okay, this just happens to be a mustad. Okay, and I got, as you can see, I got it weighted already. I have 12 wraps of 0.15 lead wire centered in about the center of the shank there. So what I'll do next is I'm going to take my thread here and start it in front of that thread, or lead rather, excuse me. Start a little dam. Then I'm going to jump on top and work rearward here. And behind the lead here, I'm going to build another little dam of thread. Snip off that tag in there. Okay, now we'll jump up on top of the lead and work forward again. Build it up a little more in front, then I'll come back, forward and back one more time. And that should secure that lead in well for us, and I'll work the thread back to just about the barb there. Okay. Now the tail on this guy is calls for red wool, and I have some red wool yarn. I took 3 strands and just combed it out a little bit there. So took some Velcro and combed that out. And the tail on it is about the length of the hook gap. So we'll come up around and get that on there with a pinch loop. A couple wraps forward. And I want to come back, hold up on the tail till it's right above the barb there. That's good. And I'll snip that even with the lead at the rear there. And I'm just going to trim that tail just a little bit more, folks. Straighten it up. There we go. Okay, there's our red wool tail. Now, bind that down good. Okay, the next step is I'm going to take some calls for some fine copper wire, or rather gold wire, but I have copper, I don't have gold, so either or is good, copper or gold. So I'll take that fine wire and attach it on the far side there. Once I catch it in, there we go. Bring it back to in front of our tail. Wrap it down nice and secure with snug wraps. Okay, now the next step, I'm going to grab, it has this peacock herl shellback on it, and I have 4 strands of peacock herl here. So what I'm going to do is just even those up, then cut off the brittle tips, and we'll tie those in across the top for the shellback. I'll snip those off, and we'll catch that in on top here. And we're going to wrap that all the way back to in front of the tail, just like so. That's where we'll stop here. Okay, that's fine. Come forward a ways, set that in the material clip there. Okay, next we're going to tie in the body's yellow chenille, and I have a 4 to 5 inch piece of medium-sized yellow chenille here, and I already have the fiber stripped off so we can tie it in by the threads there, the thread core. And I'll catch that in on my side here, just like so. Secure it down nice and tight, several snug wraps. Then we'll bring our thread all the way up to where we want to tie things off. We'll stop there. Alrighty. So we'll grab that chenille. Now this chenille comes on a card, and a little tip here, a lot of times you'll get chenille on a card and it's kind of flat, so all you really have to do, I just take it and twist it until it gets a more rounded shape, because a lot of times it's flattened out on a card when it comes on the cards when you buy it. So now we're just going to wrap this forward. First wrap right in front of the tail here. Okay, looks good. We'll just proceed forward until we get to our tie-off point here. Okay, probably, let's say We'll tie her off right there, folks. So I'll come up around, couple wraps. I'm going to regain the tension on that thread, snug it down tight. I'm going to wrap back towards the rear, locking that chenille in place. Then we'll trim off our excess there. Okay. Alright, that part's done there. I'm just going to secure that down here with several snug wraps. Alrighty. That looks good there, folks. Okay. So next what we're going to do is take our shellback here. The 4 strands of herl that we had in the rear, tied in. And we're going to fold those over the top for our shellback. I'll catch those in. Okay, that looks good. Catch them in there nice and tight. 4 or 5 good snug wraps. Trim off the excess. Okay, that's that. Now, the hackle is grizzly. So I have a hen grizzly hackle here ready to tie in. And if you don't have hen grizzly, you can use, if you don't have a hen grizzly cape, grizzly saddle hackle will work just as fine. Okay, we'll tie that in here, right on top the stem here. Snug that in tight. Okay, I'll fold back on that, lock it in good. Trim off the excess stem there, right behind the eye. Alright, a couple more wraps to secure it in well. Alrighty, so next we're going to wrap that hackle rearward. So I'll grab my pliers here, folks. Okay, I'll come around with the first turn with my fingers here. Get that first turn in there. Alrighty, so now we're going to spiral that rearward. Once I get a grip on it here. Okay, just work it to the rear. Then when we get there, we'll catch it in with our fine wire. Okay, one more wrap around. Alright, we're going to bring that wire down around. We're going to catch that little tip in there. Going to release my pliers. Now we'll wiggle that wire as we go forward, and that'll secure the hackle down as well as the shellback. It'll make it, that peacock herl, a lot more durable with that wire going over the top. And we'll just wrap that forward. Okay, now we'll tie it off, come up around. Just like so. Couple wraps forward on that wire. Then I'm going to fold that back as well to lock it in place. Just like so. Then I'll give it a little helicopter off. Okay, we're essentially done, folks. We just have to build a little hit on this little worm and whip finish. Okay, so I'll do that. I'll build a little hit on this guy. Okay, that looks fine. So now we'll just grab my whip finisher here, and we'll give it a 4 or 5 turn whip here. Alrighty. Just a little different worm pattern. I thought you might want to see this one. Okay, there we go. Whip finish on him there. Snug it down nice and tight. And we'll come in and snip off the thread there nice and close. Okay, and the last step, I'm going to grab my Solarez bone dry here and put a coat on this guy. And cover all the thread wraps all the way around. And you don't need too heavy a coat of this stuff here. Just to make the head a little bit glossy there. It's a good finish on it, and it also penetrates the thread some too, which helps. Alrighty, so now we'll cure it up with the light here. And it don't take too awful long for this stuff to harden up. Alright, that should be great. There we go. Okay, folks, there we have it, a size 8 Dave's woolly worm. Like I was saying, if you have the materials, definitely give some of these a whirl for sure. Tie a few up, spin them up, add them to the box. So, what I want to do is wish everyone out there happy holidays, and hope you all have a good time and a happy new year as well, if I don't get back with a video till after the new year. And also, that will probably be the video for the draw that I mentioned in my past video there, but I'm having a draw giving away a box of flies. So, I'll get to that eventually. And so, if you want to, and see, if you want to see more flies, just hit the good old subscribe button there, and throw in a like too, and any comments, throw them down below. And like I always say, happy tying out there, and I'll see you all again soon, and so long for now, folks.